Welcome back to Biohacker Summit live show. We are slowly moving towards the end of our program, but we're not there yet. Right now we have Danny from the company called Chronomics. Hi Danny, how are you today?
Hi, how's it going? Nice to be here.
Yeah, very good. Nice to meet you too. So for our audience that is watching us live right now, could you tell us a bit more what is epigenetics and why would anyone care about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we think that epigenetics is the next type of data to basically bring about healthcare revolution. So epigenetics is essentially the way that lifestyle and environmental factors are affecting the regulation of your DNA, the regulation of your genes.
Right.
And therefore, by using this type of data, we can quantify the main risk factors that affect the development of non-communicable diseases, things such as cancer, type 2 diabetes, neurodegenerative diseases, cardiovascular disease. So we basically want to use this type of data to drive a proactive and preventative healthcare revolution that reaches the masses.
Yeah, so basically helping people to make sense out of the genetic data.
Yeah, exactly.
So what kind of things do you help to determine? I heard there is a biological age that is kind of, or maybe different from our actual age. Do you help to understand that a bit more?
Yeah, exactly. So one of the things that we can do with this type of epigenetic data is quantifying the aging process very, very accurately.
So how do you do that?
So we collect a saliva sample from our users and then get a lot of epigenetic data. When I say a lot, we're talking about more than 20 million epigenetic markers. So this is gigabytes and gigabytes of data. And then we need to process. And the way to process it is using basically machine learning algorithms. So basically machines that are able to make sense of this data that humans just looking at it wouldn't be able. And then we map that to, in this case, for example, your biological age, which is how fast you're really aging or how old you truly are at the DNA level.
Super interesting. So what kind of aspects of our lifestyle influence that number? How do we age slower or faster? What influences that?
So there are many different aspects from our lifestyle, and obviously every person is different, and that's why we really want to drive this personalized revolution in healthcare, and that's why we stop using kind of generic measurements for this and go to the molecular level, which is much more accurate. In terms of the types of lifestyles that people can change, so obviously diet is a big thing. So obviously increasing the amount of fruits and veggies that you take. We've seen, for example, that that's something that has a heavy influence in your biological age, much more, for example, than other things that traditionally you might think have a higher impact. Obviously, what we want to do with this technology is go beyond those sort of things that we kind of already know. And it's also important to mention the fact that many of these factors will interact between them, right? So if you do, for example, at the same time a change in your diet and a change in your exercise regime, it's quite difficult to isolate those two effects, but what we can do is to aggregate how that is contributing to your age-associated risk and therefore see if you are going in the right direction or not.
Yeah, so basically changing the lifestyle changes our epigenetic profile as well.
Exactly.
So, now I guess things like quitting smoking and drinking alcohol has a real solid scientific backup.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the other two of the other things that we are now measuring. So as you probably know, being exposed to the chemicals in tobacco and also air pollution, some of which are shared, this increases your chances of developing things such as lung cancer, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. So by being able to quantify this, you can really see, how much you've been exposed, and also quantify over time if you, stop being exposed to these things, how your body is recovering from them.
Right. So what are the most important biomarkers we should be paying attention to?
Yeah. So, obviously there's a lot going on from a research side of things. So I'm not allowed to say a lot of it, but I think I'll hint into the directions that we're going.
Yep.
So obviously, as you said, we have biological age. We've already released a smoke exposure indicator, and an alcohol consumption indicator, which quantifies your cumulative exposure to these risk factors. And we also have another epigenetic indicator, which is called metabolic status. And what we do here is to quantify essentially your BMI, your body mass index at the molecular level. And this is basically a better proxy for things such as, the risk of developing type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, than traditional BMI measurements.
Right.
But we want to go beyond that, and we are very interested, for example, in the mental health space.
Super important.
So we are working on stuff related to stress, and we think we have in our hands what could potentially be, some new interesting insights into that side of things. So
totally.
Stay tuned.
In the end of the day, it's really all about the lifestyle, nutrition, sleep, stress levels, and the way we manage that. So how often do you recommend people going to do this kind of tests? So I understand that our bodies changes with time, and if we, for example, introduce some new aspect in our lifestyle, the whole epigenetic profile will change. So when it comes to Chronomics, what is the optimal kind of cycle for people to do the test?
So essentially, there are two sides to that answer. First, the first question is basically how much people are implementing in their lifestyle. So depending on how strong the lifestyle interventions are, then the time frame in which we recommend to people to change is different. And also there are the different epigenetic indicators or risk factors that we measure will change at different rates. So for example, your biological age, if you want to see changes in that, what we normally recommend to people is that if they do kind of normal lifestyle changes, things in the diet, exercise, etc., then we recommend to do this yearly, so once a year. If people are undergoing, for example, or trying some of these new anti-aging drug candidates that are out there, things such as, I'm not a medical doctor to recommend anything, but there are some people, for example, trying metformin. So if you were to do something like that, then we think 6 months is probably the way to go. But things such as your metabolic status will probably change in the order of months.
Right. Very interesting. Thank you very much. So for everybody who wants to try the Chronomics, where do they order it?
Yeah, so basically anyone can order it, or we used to be able to offer it directly through our website. At the moment, we've moved more to kind of B2B type of business. But for the biohacking community that is listening to us at the moment, just basically contact us through our website. There we'll have people of the team that will be able to help you out. So www.chronomics.com, and there we can take it from there.
Thank you very much, and best of luck with your business.
All right. Thanks so much for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.